consistent. It's crazy, my man. Like I see you up here so often. Like
Right. But you gotta do
you
that
don't
in
stop
business,
a
man.
lot.
You gotta always stay active, baby. Work all the time.
Listen, you literally don't stop the grind. Man, that's how old you are.
35.
35. So you're 5 years older than me. Copy. I'm 30.
Okay, nice.
So I saw a question. So this happened recently, right?
Hmm.
So I just got out my relationship, and I just really wonder, like, cause I was trying to get to a place where I can get some type of accountability for like the way I was treated for the past 5 years of my relationship. And it felt like I just kept getting like stonewalled. Like she just brought up the problems that I did, like an issue that I believe that, I tried to resolve and I did resolve. And while trying to get some clarity, it always was met with confusion. And that confusion like brought up so much like anger in me that I snapped high key. I didn't snap, but I was just like I posted a video about it because when we broke up, I was like, oh thank God I'm fine with that relationship. And now that's being used as an attack point, like, oh see, he is the person that I always said he was. And I'm like, what the fudge? I was like, how can you like, and I just saw a video. It's like you can't control someone's reaction after you hurt them. And I'm like, that's what I feel like at this point. It's like everybody judging my reaction, but they're not like judging what happened in the
Hmm.
relationship and like coming up to the end of it when I was like literally texting her like, hey, because of your environment, my environment, we didn't have conflict resolution skills. We wasn't able to identify and have these tools. And now like, can we like try to come to a repair? And that was met with like once again like a form of stonewalling and like, oh, I can't, why would I consider your feelings if you didn't respect this one boundary that I had? And even within that boundary, we came to a mutual understanding of like, hey, we just kind of misunderstood each other. I thought we was just like having a little break for self therapy, getting new identities and other things. I thought that was the whole thing. And then
Right.
it blew up even more. And I ain't gonna lie, I said my shit because I was like, bro, I couldn't, because she got upset because she saw my live and I was speaking. I was like, I wasn't in love with her because I had a deep love for her, but I couldn't fall in love with her. And she got upset about that. And I was like, I didn't. Like, I don't get it. Like, I don't get what you want me to do right now. Like, I'm just trying to speak my truth, and I'm like, I don't know. It's just so much I'm going through right now, and I'm like, I understand I'm not a wrong person, but it's like, dang, bro. Like, I wish could have had some emotional capacity or emotional intelligence to understand where I was coming from. Because I'm reading the books, I went to the therapy, I did all of it, and if I can tell you the issue. The main issue that really hurt the relationship was I'm a black man, she's a brown Muslim girl, and after 5 years, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna. So after I say this, you're gonna know who I am. I worked with Gucci. I worked with Nike. I did multiple things, and she wouldn't show an article of a photo of my face to her parents, and it just kept rattling me. I was like, what? This relationship can't go anywhere because that's such a key point. Because me, I don't know if I'm say like empath, but being able to identify things and like picking up patterns, I'm like, hey, if this was a machine or this was a game or whatever it is, if you don't identify this one thing, things literally won't change in your life because you're staying stagnant in this one part of your life because you feel like your parents are going to not accept me or accept or disapprove of you, and it's like it's going to be something there, and it's like if you truly want to be with me, this one thing's gonna have to change, but you keep asking for me to wait while disregarding who I was, and then I once again I did what I did, and it's just like it's just so crazy. Like I don't like I really like I don't like I'm reading back the text and I'm like, am I going crazy? And I'm not. Like I really see my emotional capacity. I'm identifying everything. I'm expressing everything. I'm pointing out the flaws. I'm giving like appreciation to her emotional availability. But all I kept asking, I was like, hey, are you going to make this an emotionally safe place for me? And every time I asked that question, it was met with like extreme pushback. And then after the pushback, it was like I'm tired of going back and forth. Like she kept saying back and forth. And I said, hey, back and forth is creating an opposition between us instead of a place of repair. If you keep using back and forth, we're not. We're not arguing with each other. We're trying to come to a conclusion. And then it was always met with that and like, I'm gonna block you. If you keep texting me, I'm gonna block you. I'm like, hold on, buddy. I'm not. What's going on? What's going on? And then it's just like I don't know, bro. Actually, I do know. It's understanding that some people can't meet you because they haven't met themselves. That's what I'm coming to a conclusion with. But it just hurts. But that's my yap. If you want to, what's it called, analyze what that was. You know what I mean? Thank you for being a listening ear.
Yeah, what's up? You have a question about this?
What do you like? Is this like that? I guess it's just like the relate. Like, is it really just like? Is it like? Because I said I was talking to my mom earlier, and I was like, is this like a? I'm not going to say it, Jesus, but it's like so people can see your light, but still be a Judith within your midst. Because it felt like I was in competition. Like she felt like she was in competition with me almost, and I was like, is that like a real like? Is that like am I bugging? Like your partner can be in competition with you, or like insecure? Like
We
is
talked about
that?
this briefly, right? Like my gut went
Yeah,
towards when you called in
yeah,
the originally, it went
yeah,
towards it was inherently threatening, right? Because you didn't tell me, you didn't get the context about like not showing the parents, but you gave the context of not liking
yeah.
the accomplishments. Like if you posted something on social media, she wouldn't even like it, she wouldn't share it, she wouldn't congratulate you. There was only negativity thrown at it, and I told you that if your star is rising, that may be inherently threatening because what comes with success, especially for men, is more access to women, and you know, rubbing shoulders with celebrities and things of that nature. You're gaining more clout essentially, and
Big cloud.
that can be threatening, right? So if she's insecure, she probably don't doesn't want to encourage that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
um like I think when we talked originally, I was trying to figure out if she was doing something similar to you, because that's when like jealousy would come into place, or if she just wasn't experiencing any degree of success in her own right, then that jealousy can be a part of the picture as well. And there could also be probably a mixture of both of those things going on, contributing to this outcome. But my gut tells me that it's more of the insecure aspect of things that ruined this.
So insecurity mixed with so if you say this because I'm leaning towards the insecurity of like who I was to a certain degree or what I was doing, but also I have to hold the complexity of the racial aspect because it's like I because everybody's saying Winston your reactions not too much and I'm finally starting to allow myself to react that you wouldn't show a photo of my face to your parents for 5 years. Like I'm really like saying the sentence now, and I feel like is that not like absolutely bonkers? Like
It
is that
was
not?
there any kind of reason behind it? Was there any kind of cultural reasons that may have
What do you
contributed to that?
What do you mean by control?
No, cultural reasons. Were there any kind of
Oh,
cultural reasons that could have contributed
oh,
to that?
well, she was a brown Muslim girl,
Okay.
so like that's what I believe. That's what I believe was happened. You know.
Okay. I'm not aware of like what their customs are, but yeah, I mean, if her parents didn't approve, that would make sense, right? She had maybe racist parents or parents that would disapprove of her dating a black man, then that would, you know, make sense why she wouldn't show her parents any kind of pictures or anything like that. Um, yeah.
Cause like should like cause that's the point. It's like I'm really like I guess I'm battling because it's like I was feeling super, not say, because I was feeling like insecure in the relationship because of that one thing, and it just kept bringing up issues. Because it's like, as I'm building the business, as I'm doing the things, it's like, am I being used right now for like something? Like, am I just being used and I'm just like a experience, or it's like I'm actually being a person? Because it's like after 5 years, and we're about to go on 6 years this year, but we end up breaking up. But it's like I'm like, how long do you want me to wait? And then after that, why won't you acknowledge my feelings? Because between those two things, cause like just me to really like, yo, I'm getting more and more upset. Like are you able going to be acknowledging that this is a thing? And then once again, I barely got that acknowledgement, and
I mean,
it
so
kept
how did she respond when you brought this up? When you
the photo.
questioned why she didn't, why you never met her parents, why her parents weren't aware of you, how did she respond?
So basically, because if I can be 100% honest, there's two instances in our relationship where basically she said didn't feel like trust she brought a list of four things that she felt like I was doing apparently, and one of them was it was a fracture in our relationship where I invited somebody over to the house that she felt like was uncomfortable with, and then I said I'll truly admit this, but I was like, I feel like why at this point, like I can't have this level of relationship with this person when you're not giving me anything. Like you feel like you're dragging me along, and I think that was like it was almost like year 4 of the relationship, and within that, it felt like she just kept that one instance that happened. She brought that all the way up into the next instance of like a problem. So she was hanging on to that one issue, and that one issue was like, I don't trust you because of this one thing.
Okay.
And I was like, why are you like, what can I do to heal this? And then within I asked that question, she said, okay, cool. Can you go to that person and see if they like you, XYZ? So I went to the woman because it was a homegirl of mine. I went to this woman. I said, yo, do you like me, XYZ? Because if you do, we need to cut this out, XYZ. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I bared my sins. And also, I was going through my healing during this time, and she knows this. At this time, at like my early 20s or 26, I was like, yo, I started apologizing to the women that I slept with because I felt like I was trying to gain my masculinity through women because I felt like if they like me, then I can like me at that time.
Right.
So when I started to realize that, I was like, oh shit, let me fix all these issues. And also, I was asking her to fix her issues as well because I believe her past relationships was bringing energy of insecurity and doubt in our relationship because it clouded her view on love. It clouded her view on love, conflict, and also repair. So when it came to the healing process, she kind of stayed in that place. And when I asked, hey, can you journal? Can you journal? Can you journal? She kind of just stayed into it. And then I kept healing and healing and healing. And so when the final part came into when, hey, are you willing to cut this person? I was like, I would cut anybody out of my life because I want you right now. I want you. I literally want you. And because of that, one instance where I feel like I said, we healed, she kept saying, that's the reason I can't move forward. And then I snapped the next time because it was a whole year later. It was about to be the 5 year. And then she's like, this is why I can't even move forward again. I'm like, this is interesting. Like I thought, or I assume if you do repair a problem, not say it's completely fixed, but you're working on it, you do the things, why can't we move forward? And that was the main reason because it was one instance and then she just kept dragging it on. And then from there, I started to pull back as well. I'm not going to lie. So it's just like, I'm like, I can't do that, you know what I mean? So that was the main reason. She said this was an instance where I let the person in the house, and from there she just like, or my house, not the house, my house, and then that was mainly it, you know? It was that one instance, and I'm like, yo, like you won't let this go, you won't give me grace. Like why is my 2% getting covered over my 98%?
Right.
And I couldn't cognitively think it like correctly.
I mean, ultimately, brother, the main problem you made here was you just stayed entirely too long, right? So you're saying that she discovered this year 4 and used that as an excuse as to why she couldn't progress the relationship further, such as introducing you to her family. But she still had 4 years to do so prior to the incident, right?
Yeah.
So that's essentially just a justification. So, yeah, like you just stayed too long, right? Like you abandoned yourself throughout the relationship, right? Like a year after being in a relationship and somebody not introducing you to family is weird. You know what I mean? Let alone 5 full years. You know what I mean? So it's like that's what you have to kind of unpack is like what made you stay so long, given that you weren't you constantly weren't in alignment. It's like you just kept trying to solve a problem that never had a solution to it.
Yeah, that's what I definitely worked on. I already journaled that. I figured that out, and I was just, because I was just thinking. I was like, I'm not crazy for having this level of reaction. Because once again, I keep getting met with adversity. Like, oh, you're doing too much. I'm like, that's 5 years of my life. I think I should have the capacity.
What were you doing that people were criticizing you for?
So because we had a break, and during that break, I would just express my emotions on my platform, which I never said her name or was never angry or anything, but I guess one of her friends followed me at the time, and she just like, oh, I don't like this one video because somebody in the comments said something, and then she ran it back to her. It was like, oh, Winston saying shit and XYZ. And I'm like, yo, what the hell? So when we got back into contact, she was like, oh, our mutual friends are running back to me and saying XYZ. And I'm like, okay, I respect the fact that you're saying that, and I feel like your feelings are valid. May you please show me this video so I can address the issue? And then I kept getting met with, we don't know the video. And I'm like, what the f is going on here? Like, you can't even tell me the video where this is stemming from. Like, nobody knows the video that's stemming from. And then recently, when we finally got the relationship, I was like, thank God I'm out of it, because of, once again, 5 years of misconfusion. Everybody's like, Winston, how dare you say thank God you're out this relationship? I'm like, what the hell? Like, what?
I would have to agree with them on that point, brother. It's like you talked about masculinity here. One tenet of masculinity is you respond, you don't react. And you use the word react a few times in your discussion of this situation, right? It's I reacted, I reacted, I reacted. That's a feminine response. The reaction is a feminine response. Masculine is the initiative force. It's like you are thoughtful about what you are doing, and there is purpose behind what you're doing, right?
Yes.
There was literally no purpose of making videos, right? It was more of an emotional reaction, which is why you're even using the word reaction. Okay. There was
Yeah.
nothing, we're builders, right? So, like, the feminine can be chaotic, and then this chaos it can destroy. That's why the masculine is needed to provide the structure so that the feminine doesn't consume itself. So, you weren't building in that situation, you were destroying.
So you
It,
don't believe making, like, because it wasn't just me like reacting. I was making, because I was doing the therapy and I was making insightful videos on what I was learning within that. And it
mhm.
was not like I was saying any names within that. But do you believe that making those type of insightful videos wasn't? Because it was just me expressing myself within the understanding and complex of, like, hey, this is what
Yeah,
emotional da da
you
da
can
da.
express yourself, but with some sort of intention and purpose to it, right? So again, the
Gotcha.
masculine is about building, right?
Yeah.
So while you probably you were emoting, even if it was insight being unpacked there, it was really just you just emotionally just expressing yourself, right? That's just the correction point that I would make here. Okay. So you
Okay.
weren't building in that sense. You weren't, there was no intention behind what you were doing other than just getting it out. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why nothing good came from it, right? Only negative things came from it. So now you had another stimulus to emotionally react to. So now it's like, now I got to react to my reaction. You know what I mean? Like, I did this and now y'all are mad about it. Now I'm reacting to y'all getting mad about it. You know?
Mm. Okay, I believe I get what you're coming from. Because usually I was sitting in solace and journal and go through creative means. I always try to give, like, alchemize it, and it just felt like that. What, like, at the, because once again, I guess I'm gonna keep saying it is the reaction. It just felt like me doing the speaking of it within, like, the context of what I was talking about felt like another form of alchemization, because I couldn't do the journaling, I could do the therapy, and it's like that was like another level of me alchemizing it. So it's like, because I can sit in solace, I can be the stoic, but it felt like the stoic was never, like, it was just allowing me to just, like, the stoicism wasn't helping. It's like I could do it, I'm part of doing it, but it's like, what about me, almost, you know?
Yeah, it's not,
So
you don't have to, it's not like a binary thing. It's not like go to one extreme or the other. It's not like, oh, be stoic and don't have any emotions or just start emoting all over the place, right? Like there's nothing cathartic about posting a video online. It's like it's all what you're saying is almost the equivalent of like
can you explain
women
cathartic real quick? I feel like I know what it is, but can you explain cathartic?
like making it like it's helpful, like it's almost like a release, right? It's like you could have made a video that just stayed in your phone. It's like the equivalent of like if you see women post like bikini pictures and like, I don't post this for attention, I post this for myself. It's like, no, you don't. You're posting for attention. You post anything on social media is for attention. I don't care who it is, male or woman. Anything you're posting on social media is for attention.
I like the fact you said that.
Right, it's all for attention. So
Okay.
it's just a rationalization. That's why you got part of growth is being honest with yourself. Your growth is going to be contingent upon how honest can you be about yourself, about the messiness of your behavior and the thing that what your true motivations are. The more honest you can be about what you're doing and why you're doing it, the more you will grow from it.
Copy.
When we
So
start
like,
rationalizing and coming up with like these poetic ways and that sound noble on the outside, but internally we know it's bullshit. It's like you just prohibit any kind of internal growth.
okay, so what I'm hearing is that due due to the fact that I did do that, it was a because it's a masculine feminine thing, and within the fact that it caused more chaos, and now going internally and seeing what you're saying,
Hmm.
it's like at this moment I have to accept what the consequence was, because whatever they reacted, I reacted, they reacted.
Right.
It's accepting that, but within accepting that, it's like like it's accepting my deeper, because it's accepting my deeper what is it, my deeper emotional, what's it called, reactivity to things. Because it's like I did feel it, I did alchemize it. Now within that, as you said, I could have just posted it and just put it in the drafts. You're correct on that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like now at this point I have to reflect on what actually happened, come to a conclusion of what I need and what I could have done better, because that's what I've been doing. I've been coming to the acceptance of, like, you know what, maybe I could have said this differently. Maybe I could have said this differently. And the only issue that I come within that is like, dang, what about, like, because I'm not saying this is healthy, but I'm always like, could they have even showed up differently as well? Could they have potentially gave me a little bit of space of what I needed? Could they have, but you know, because I'm always willing to take the L or take the W, because when you work on yourself, you win. But within that, it always feels like I'm always giving leeway to someone else to be like, but that's because they're not emotionally available. That's because they're not healed, which is fine to understand. But it sometimes always feels like you have to always, you know, take the bullet with yourself and be like, okay, they don't have to do anything. That's how I feel sometimes. I'm not saying that's correct, but it just kind of feels like that. Like, okay, you know, I could have did things differently. Sure. Like, you also could have helped as well. So it's like, you know, that's what I feel. You know what I mean? While taking accountability of what you're saying, because I feel like you hit the nail. So,
Yeah, I mean, there's fault on both sides here, right? It's your fault, like I said, in the relationship was just staying too long, right? It's like if you would have left, earlier when you saw you're out of alignment, you wouldn't even have half of these complaints. Most of the problem is staying too long. That doesn't mean you just, you just dip out immediately. It just means that once you see y'all are not in alignment and it will not work, like you have to have the discernment of knowing, like, okay, this isn't going to work. Let me go ahead and dip out. People end up, they should have left month two, but they end up spending 6 years with the person, and now they have all these complaints. Now they're traumatized for the next person. It's like you should have just left earlier when you saw y'all weren't on the same page.
you know what? I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that to the complete part, because that's what I've been, because through my therapy, and also I've been doing cognitive behavioral therapy, I'm changing the thought of what I was having. And I realized that I have to accept that I was self-abandoning.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard this from my therapist. It's like, just because you have the capacity to make a relationship work doesn't mean you should stay in it. And I didn't know that. I'm like, what does that mean? And when she explained, you can have the capacity to make a relationship work. You can forgive them multiple times. You can give that space. You can be the one that always try to repair. You can be the one in silence and stuff. But you're not. The relationship is not working. It's like it's not working. It's on life support essentially.
Right.
Just because you're making it work, like you're not. You shouldn't do that. And I didn't know that. I thought, that was a form of abandoning someone if you just don't make the relationship work. I feel like, oh, I'm abandoning this person. But as you said, now coming to the conclusion of staying into something too long while also accepting that you have to have the self-confidence and also the internal security to be like, I'm making the right choice. So
Right.
I agree with you saying. I appreciate what you're saying. Because people say next, please, so I'm going to make sure that you get the next person.
All right, brother.
So I
Appreciate the question, man.
this again. Keep doing your thing, and I can't wait to come up potentially next time on this panel with some better information.
Sounds good, brother. You take care, man.
Of course, thank you.
All right. Carly Licious, what's going on?
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
I just have a question. I'm from a non-biased party, if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
I ask friends, and I usually get the same responses, so I really would like your insight.
Sure.
I've been single 10 years. I was in a relationship for a long time. I was engaged, that ended, and since then, I focused on myself, my career. I did the work. I went to therapy. I learned myself, of course. I'm 36 now. And it seems, I guess from what I'm seeing, a lot of people from the unhealed me are trying to circle back. But I'm not meeting any new people. When I go out, I don't meet anyone, or guys don't really approach me for whatever reason. They do approach my friends. And I'm trying to see if there's maybe if there's an aura or something that I'm putting out where I'm just not getting approached.
Okay. That's your question, is why you're not getting approached?
I just want to know if maybe there's something that I might be doing subconsciously wrong.
So when you say they approach your friends, they approach your friends when you're out with your friends?
Yes,
Okay. Do you, what do you feel like your friends are doing differently? Have you observed anything?
we are different. I will say that.
Hmm.
I do hold myself to a certain caliber. Not to say that they do not. They're a little more life of the party, and I'm not.
Gotcha. So them being the life of the party means that they are coming across more in a feminine way, more than likely. Like part of the feminine is like being expressive. So you see women being like, like stuff like that when they're surprised or like they're very they wear their expressions on their face, right? They're they're enjoying the moment. That's more of a feminine expression, right? Um, and the reason why a lot of men talk about femininity is because it's just inherently attractive. Just like the reason why a lot of women talk about masculinity is because it's inherently attractive, right? So you're probably not just expressing that aspect of things. Maybe you're a bit more shy, maybe you're a bit more guarded, but that's likely the reason why. Like, cause listen, when men are observing women out and about, and we decide to approach, we're doing like a very quick risk assessment. You know what I mean? We're trying to determine like how likely is it going? Is it if I approach this person, how likely is it going to be a positive interaction? And someone who looks like they're enjoying themselves and having fun and observing them from afar, it looks like they're just putting out positive energy and receiving positive energy. We're going to feel like that it's going to likely be a more positive experience. If we see someone who looks like they're more like has walls up, maybe not enjoying themselves, you may be a sweetheart if somebody actually talked to you, but just the quick snip test of how like your energy, you're like, nah, I'd rather talk to the person who looks like I may have a more pleasant interaction with them, right? Now, that's if you're going out to dynamic environments. Dynamic environments are environments where there's always different people there when you go. So when you go to brunch, when you go out to a bar, if you go to a club, right? Those are dynamic environments, okay? What I always recommend women do, and men do, just people in general, is to put themselves in static environments. Static environments is where you see the same people over and over and over again. So like work is a static environment, church is a static environment, a run club is a static environment, right?
Right.
School is static environments. Now, when you put yourself in those environments, you you build familiarity with the people in those environments. And familiarity can open the door to attraction. It also gives you more options because just about every woman I know has the experience of going to school with a guy or working with a guy where he wasn't maybe her physical type, but after being exposed to his personality over time, she becomes attracted to him, develops a crush on him, right? Maybe more so than she did for her actual type, right? So, but these are guys that if you met them on a dating app or if they approach you in the club, you would probably turn them down because there wasn't enough time spent engaging them for you to actually see them for real. You didn't take in enough of their energy to really make a informed decision. Does that make sense?
It does to an extent. I mean, I've been told that I not am, but look intimidating. Although I'm not. But I
Right.
guess
But this is
first,
also
first
why I say
impression.
static environments because first impressions, right? You just said it. First impressions. In a dynamic environment, it's just first impressions. In a static environment, someone may still have that first impression of you, but then they see you again and again and again, and then they start to see more sides of you. Oh, I thought she was stuck up. She's not stuck up.
Right.
You see what I'm
I've
saying?
gotten that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like that's why I would instead of you trying to figure out how to be like your friends, you know what I mean, which is more of an uphill battle. Like when you ask me this question, when anyone asks me a question, I'm thinking about what is the downhill battle? What's going to be easiest for them to implement? So we could talk about how you can go out to bars and clubs and like be more like your friends and get approached. Is that possible? Sure. It's also going to be a lot of work. It's going to feel for
That's also not what I want to do.
okay,
They are them and I am me, and I'm
exactly.
very, very comfortable with who I
Gotcha.
am. I just want to figure out the best way to
And that's what we're
get the
talking.
same
That's what we're talking
interaction
about
with
now.
me.
Right. That's what we're talking about now. For you to do that, it will be more performative. You will have a much easier go if you start putting yourself in static environments. And then when you're in said environments, You may not want to talk to people who you're just now meeting for the first time and you're only going to be around for 2 hours, right? Maybe you're a
Right.
bit more reserved than that. Okay, well, if you put yourself in static environments, maybe you don't talk as much to this person the first time you see them. Maybe the third time you see them, you warm up a bit, right? So if I were you, I would put yourself more in those type of environments so you can build up, you can build those slow burn connections with people.
Okay. I understand.
Hmm.
I understand. And I appreciate your insight. I'll do my best to start putting myself in those better environments.
Come back and give me an update when you do. All right?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem, love. You take care.
You too.
All right.
My my ex had recently ended our engagement.
Hmm.
We were together for 7 years since we were 19, and we got engaged in August. It wasn't until November of 2025 where he just told me this recently, that he said he was romantically tapped out of the relationship.
Hmm.
And we took a break in February so we can both fast and we can both focus on God and pray. And it was that before that break had even commenced or come to an end, he came to me distraught and said that he doesn't know what to do. And he said, I wish I made it easier by cheating on him. But essentially that like he wants to be alone and he doesn't want to be in this anymore. And it's been tormenting and heartbreaking because I wake up with anxiety every morning. But I'm just wondering, like, what leads a man to want to make that decision after making such a huge decision just months earlier. And I do understand, like, our relationship has went through its ups and downs. I mean, like I said, we've been together since we were 19, and it was an immature relationship at the start, but for me to progress and get better, and then for him to progress and get better in his career and have everything he has, it just seems very abrupt and off, and I'm just trying to like find answers to kind of go through it.
Okay. So, what is your question here?
So my question is, like, what leads a man to want to do something like that? Like, after 7 years and after an engagement, but 2 months after the engagement, you're not sexually attracted to the person, the romanticism is gone. And then he basically said I was on autopilot all the way until about February when he decided that he wanted to leave. Like, what leads to that?
Okay. Did he say how long he was on autopilot?
Yeah, since November of 2025. So like 2 months after we got engaged.
How old are you two? So y'all were together for 7 years. Y'all been together since you were 19.
Yeah, I'm 26 and he's 27.
Okay. What was
He
the
said that
context of the
he's trying to
conversation?
get closer to God and everything like that, and he's like hanging out with friends that are making him feel more like himself. And yeah.
Okay. How did y'all meet?
We met through a mutual friend. It was coincidental. He saw my picture somewhere. He asked for my information, and then we were chatting since then.
You said that he was hanging out with friends that make him feel more like himself. Can you explain that?
Yeah, so particularly, like, I do think that there is this one friend. It's a female friend. He's been in a friendship with her like a year before me and him met. And she was in a relationship prior to also. But they're very close. She's kind of like a very bubbly, like eccentric, like very just nice person. And I've never had an issue with their friendship. They do like this yearly like birthday anniversary thing to where they celebrate each other's birthday once a year. And I've never had an issue with that. But recently, like, I learned, like, she was his accountability partner for Lind. And, like, I learned that he took her out, like, on a solo dinner for her birthday. And I'm looking at all of these things because he tells me, like, I sound insecure whenever I start to mention, like, his, like, inappropriate relationships with some of his other friends. So he's like, no, you're insecure, you're jealous and stuff like that. And I'm just like, I don't know. I just feel like something is wrong. But this time, like, my intuition just kind of is like pushing me towards that direction. I don't know if I'm right about this. I also cannot sit here and not take full accountability. Like, our relationship, he's he's gone through some of the hardest times with me. And there were times where, like, I don't even know how he held on, but he did. And then he proposed to me, but now he's coming to me and saying, like, no, remember this, that happened in 2019, and remember this. And I'm like, but you knew all of this before we got engaged. Like, what is happening now? I feel like my world is, like, coming apart. So it's a lot of things that are being thrown at me that I did. But then I'm also looking at it, I'm just like, if you would have just come to me since November and said you romantically were tapped out the relationship, I would have rushed us to couples therapy. But you didn't. You wanted to build receipts until February to say, this is why I'm leaving.
Right. So this woman friend that he has, you said that she was in a relationship before. Is she single now?
Yes. Yeah, she was. Her person cheated on her, and she was crying to him and everything like that.
How
And
long?
that happened like last November.
That happened last November,
hmm
and y'all got engaged when?
We got engaged in August of 2025.
Okay.
hmm
But then 2 months after the engagement.
hmm 2 months after the engagement, he told me, because I reached out to him, and I know this may sound desperate, but I reached out to him after he said he wanted to break off the relationship. He said we were in couples therapy in February also. And he said in therapy, I want to break up and I don't want to work on it. And I was in complete shock, and I was like, okay. But the next day I called him, I said, I love you. I want to work on this, and I'll fight for this relationship if I have to. And I went against everything that everyone had told me, but I was like, no, because when I committed to this proposal, I committed to being with this person and fighting for this person. And he said on the call, he was just like, well, I'm not sexually attracted to you. And he was like, if it's between having a healthy relationship with somebody else or being in a relationship with you at all, like, I would rather choose a healthy relationship with somebody else. And that he's on a journey with God, and
Yeah, that's all that is just nonsense. So I'm trying to determine the timeline. So he ended things with you 2 months after the engagement, and then like a month or so after that, his friend got cheated on, or she left her boyfriend?
No. So his friend got cheated on in November of 2024.
Okay, gotcha.
So that was in November 2024. And he was like helping her through it all because it was a really, really bad relationship.
Okay.
He engaged to me August of 2025.
Okay.
In November of 2025, he romantically and sexually tapped out of the relationship. But he didn't tell me this until last weekend. So I didn't know about any of him tapping out or anything until literally last weekend when he said, I don't want to be with you anymore.
Okay.
And I said, when did this start? And he said, November, I tapped out.
Okay, hold on. So it was a year apart. So the previous year, his friend gets cheated on. He helps her through it. The next year, y'all get engaged. 2 months after y'all get engaged, he ends it.
2 months after we get engaged, he does not end it. He says that he just romantically tapped out. So he said he was on autopilot up until up until March of last week. That's when he ended it.
Okay.
He's just now telling me that November was the time where he felt like he romantically tapped out.
Gotcha. So, your experience of him in the relationship, do you feel like he was romantically tapped out?
No, I didn't see, like, I didn't see anything. Like, I didn't see.
So it didn't feel
like he was.
It didn't
I didn't
feel
feel
like.
it.
Okay,
No,
yeah.
everything was like going as it was. That's why I'm like thinking back, and I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Like, I don't get it.
I mean, I would tell you what it sounds like. Maybe there's more details, but it sounds like he's in love with his friend. Then she becomes available,
Yeah.
and then y'all get engaged, and then he probably tells her that y'all are engaged, and then she probably has some sort of confession about like how much she cares about him, and she
we
wished.
both told her we were engaged. We called her on FaceTime.
Yeah, but she probably had a independent conversation with him about it. People like to confess those type of things when things like this happen, right? When people are getting married or things like that, or they enter a relationship, that's when they want to confess their feelings for you. So, yeah, so she probably let him know. Yeah, I actually love you. And then he has to tell you, he has to create a narrative for you that you can buy into. Okay, you can't say, oh, I actually secretly wanted Shorty. I just didn't think she was an option, right? So I just kind of kept her, we just stayed friends, but we secretly wanted each other. Now that she's available and she's telling me that she sees me romantically, then I want to go and visit things with her, right? So he's telling you that he's not sexually attracted to you, not because that's true, because if that was true, he likely wouldn't be sleeping with you. He's telling you that because he knows you can't solve that. If he says anything about emotion or anything like that, You could go to counseling for that. He's telling you he's not sexually attracted to you because there's no answer for that. So he knows if he tells you he's not sexually attracted to you, there's no therapy that'll help. There's nothing that you literally can do that can help. So the only rational answer to that is leaving the relationship.
Okay.
That's just what it sounds like, dear. I don't want to tell you. The sexual attraction thing is 100% accurate. So I stand by that. The whole being in love with his friend, that's just from a probabilistic perspective. That's more than likely what's occurring, given the variables the data that you've given me. Maybe there's something both of us are unaware of that contributed to this. But based on what you just told me, the timing of everything seems suspicious. I don't think that he was going through the motions. I think that he cared for you as well, but I think that he did not know that this was going to be an actual option, more than likely, if it played out the way that I just described.
Yeah, I had I had a very strong hint and feeling that she had something to do with it, and it was just like randomly in the back of my mind. But if that's the case, I'm just like, I don't know, like as a man and as a person who's like, I'm your best friend, like, why didn't you just tell me that you just were not emotionally invested since November? Like, why wait until now to just be so cold, so distant, and make it all my fault? Like,
Yeah, it's a very cruel thing to do, but I would say that she's his best friend, you
yeah,
know? And when people keep like opposite sex friendships around, oftentimes it's because they can be their full selves with that person. And for whatever reason, they can't be their full selves with the person they're actually in a relationship with. That's oftentimes why they protect it so much. Like you try to get someone to end a relationship like that, they'll fight you tooth and nail. They rather end your relationship than end the relationship with their friend. Which is why, like, I've been through that experience for myself. It's like now, it's like if I see you defending a previous relationship more than you're defending your current relationship, I'm going to let you go, right? So,
yeah,
yeah, more than likely, that's normally what happens is they can only be their full authentic selves with that person, but for whatever reason, they probably can't be with that person. Either they think they can't, or they think it's not reciprocated, or that person's in a relationship themselves. Um, I've seen times where people are in relationships and like both of the people in the relationships, both of the friends would secretly talk to one another because both of their partners did not want them speaking. And it's like at that point, y'all might as well just be together. You know what I mean? That's just fucking weird. So, um, yeah, I know that that hurts, love. My heart goes out for you. That's a long relationship, 7 years, and then to be blindsided like that, it has nothing to do with you, though. That's what I'm going to leave you with. It's not a reflection of you at all. It's not like you were missing something or anything like that. It's just sometimes people can be cruel, and oftentimes people aren't doing things to hurt you. They're just choosing themselves. That's all that
yeah,
happened here. He's not doing nothing to hurt you. He's not trying to hurt you. He probably hates that has to happen from his perspective. But all he's doing right now is just choosing himself. That's it. And you are collateral damage in the process.
okay, thank you.
No problem, love. Best luck to you, okay?
Okay.
Okay. He did try to hurt you. Y'all have to not take that kind of stuff personally because then you harbor very strong resentment. Oftentimes, people literally do not do things to hurt you. They just do things for themselves, and then you become collateral damage. Okay? To a lot of people, you're not that important to try to hurt intentionally. Now, we're talking like narcissists. Yeah, they'll try to hurt you. They'll try to get you for sure out of spite. But most of the time, the person is just choosing themselves, and you just get hurt in the process. Hello. Okay. Maybe she didn't mean to come up. Okay, she didn't mean to come up either. Also, guys, if you have a question pertaining to dating or relationships, you can hit the button at the bottom of the screen with the blue and pink person. And I will bring you up. We'll talk about your issue. Alternatively, you can drop your question in the chat. Just be advised that callers get first priority, all right? So if you absolutely want your question to be answered, it's best to call in. Okay? Do we have any questions in the chat that I missed? Why do men love rejection? Where did you get that from? Men do not like rejection. What are we talking about? I don't think anybody likes rejection. Sometimes women don't listen to what men are telling us. Sometimes women force things. Right. Right. Men do not like rejection, period. Exactly. Like, that's why y'all say, like, oh, men don't approach nowadays. That's why. They don't want to be rejected. It stings. Rejection can sting. Okay. The ones you turn away seem to love you the most. I won't say they love you the most, but you probably become a challenge. Now it's an ego game. Can I get her? Right? But that's not loving rejection. Mandy, what's going on?
Sorry?
All right, what can I do for you?
Sorry?
I said, what can I do for you?
I just popped in on the live, so I'm listening.
Okay, you have a good one, love. All right, Agnes, what's going on? Agnes, you're muted. Going once. Going twice. Hello.
Hello.
I don't like his voice. Didn't like the voice. I'm sorry. Like you were playing a character already. Gifted, what's going on? Gifted, are you there?
I can't even hear anything anymore.
All right, let me help out with that. Ay. We gotta get them out the way. Got to get the junk callers out the way. Unfortunately, sound like a different kind of problem, right? Not gifted with hearing. I've been DMing a guy for about 5 months. Is he going to ask for my number? He likes my, I mean, maybe not if it's been 5 months. Why are you still talking to him? To be honest with you. Hold on 1 second, y'all. I got a delivery. Give me 1 second. Okay. Oh, handle that. Let that get inside. Appreciate you, man. You too, brother. Oh. All right, we're back. Did we get a caller? Arthur Bay. Arthur Bay, are you there? He dropped out. Hello.
Hello?
Can't do it. Shelly Mae, what's going on?
Hello, thank you for taking my call. Can
Absolutely.
you hear me well?
Yeah, how are you?
Coping. So, I have a question for you. I recently got broken up with a few days ago, 3 days ago, and it was during a call that I was trying to establish if I should end things with this guy I've been dating for 2 months. So we went on a total of about 10 dates. And in this call, I wanted to ease into things by asking him how the 2 months have been going. So I structured it as a check-in. There were some issues, and they were not red flag kind of issues. They were concerns that I was happy to raise with him and see how he responds or how he takes certain issues. So one example was with the follow through. I'm typically not a girl who will raise things I'm not happy with as is happening. I try to see is this a deal breaker or not? Is it something big or small? And if it's small, I won't raise the issue unless I see a cluster or a collective of the same theme. Like if there's a pattern of something I don't like, then I will talk about it to see how this person responds to it. So like an amber flag kind of issue, then I will raise it. So long story short, my question is, actually maybe before I ask my question, I would like to make the comment that I notice how when you get calls, maybe it's a guy thing, but you're so, you can easily or quickly just hang up on someone or not try hear them out longer or long enough. And I think the question mirrors what I would like to know, that am I extending too much grace on what I would consider amber flags? And is this approach in dating is it a good way to approach issues very early on in dating, or the moment I don't like something, I can easily just dismiss someone? Because that's exactly what happened to me. He broke up with me because he sensed that I was raising yet another issue, and he sensed that, and he was quick to then end things with me because he saw it coming. I know that's a very immature approach, and that revealed his character, but I want to know, am I giving too much grace in dating very early on? Because it's not like I said, it wouldn't be like a deal breaker kind of issue. But if someone can take the first exit the moment they feel that maybe I'm asking for too much or something that they cannot deliver on, if they can easily dismiss me like that, I'm thinking as a girl, maybe I could be doing something wrong. I'm being too lenient or something.
Okay. So you basically said that when you're dating people, you give grace. So if it's not an issue that seems like it is a deal breaker, you'll give grace and continue seeing the person.
Yes.
Okay. But when there's a cluster of red flags or unwanted behavior, that's when you either bring it up or leave?
If they're amber flags, if it's a red flag, then I'm more decisive. But if it's something that doesn't build safety, then I give more grace. But it appears that I don't get that same grace. I'm just dismissed at the earliest convenience.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it sounds like you're taking a more mature, reasonable, thoughtful approach, right? It's similar to what I advise people to do. I tell them to kind of write down their non-negotiables, and if somebody is displaying behaviors that are on their non-negotiable list, then they leave immediately. Like for me, that's lying. If I catch you lying, then I just leave. There's no need to give multiple chances because you're just going to lie again. That's what liars do, right? But if I see something like, as you put it, an amber flag, then, I may give grace, but not endless grace, right? It's like, okay, like if you're late or something like that. All right, well, shit happens. So, well, that becomes a consistent pattern. That's something that's important to me. Now I got to address it. And then if there's no effort after addressing it, then it's like, got to go, right? So even giving grace has limits. So, but it sounds like you are thinking that you have to correct something because other people are not extending the same courtesy to you, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's not true.
I don't know if I am extending too much leniency, especially early on in dating. Because I admire that men can just be so decisively act, like they can decisively act on something.
Uh-huh.
But I am a bit cautious to dismiss people when when it's something that we could work on. But I mean, you can't be having issues you can work on very early on in the dating phase, right? Like it should be.
Yeah, so give me some examples of like when you give me one example of you of what you would consider to be a deal breaker that you probably have experienced, and one example of you seeing something that could be worked on.
Okay, something as simple as smoking, that's a deal breaker for me. If someone
Okay.
smokes, that's not something, even if they say I'm smoking, but I'm trying to quit. To
Mm-hmm.
me, that means today you are still a smoker, so that's a no-go.
Gotcha. Okay.
Um, and something I would give grace. I'm cautious when actions are not matching words. Because if someone says they're gonna call me tonight and then they don't, and then they forget, I will I will say, oh, so you're not gonna call me anymore. If they say I'm gonna call you and they don't, and they say good night, I will raise the issue before I say good night back to them and see how they respond, but I wouldn't make it an issue. But if you say, yeah, let's go do this and this and this over the weekend, and then you don't follow through, I ask you for something, you say, I'm going to send it right away, and then you don't for weeks, then if there's more of those issues, it comes down to someone's actions not matching words over time. So in that case, I would consider it an amber flag, and then I would raise the concern.
Okay. Okay. But you, in the example you just gave, you raised the concern, like in the example of not calling you, you raised the concern like immediately.
I didn't raise it as a concern. It's just a reminder, like, oh, you're not gonna call. Like, I think I'm not too direct. I don't raise it as an issue. I just highlight oh, you had said you're gonna call, you're not gonna call.
Okay.
I don't make it I don't make it a sit down kind of topic to say, hey, we need to sort of work on this.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it doesn't seem like you're really doing anything drastically wrong, right? How are you meeting the men that you're dating?
Sorry?
How do you typically meet the men that you date?
It was mostly online.
Okay, well that's
But
part
I
of
think
that's
I'm
part
done
of your
with that.
problem. Yeah, online is part of your problem. Um, yeah, that's part of the reason why you're experiencing what you're experiencing because people who date online, they do tend to be less patient because they can just replace you with somebody else very quickly. They probably already know who your replacement is. They're probably already matched and talking to your replacement. So it's like they didn't call you. Now you're saying, oh, you're not going to call? Now you're annoying me because you know I'm not calling you because I just said good night. So what are you even asking me that for? So now I'm annoyed. So yeah, actually this isn't going to work. And I'll just go and speak to Tiffany instead, right? So that's part of your problem. But that doesn't mean you have to change how you're doing things. It doesn't help you get what you want by ruling people out immediately, right? So like, why do you feel the need that you have to change anything? It's almost like it's almost like an ego motivation. It's like, well, I don't want people breaking up with me, so maybe I should be breaking up with them very soon. You know, and it's like that doesn't help you get what you want. You probably feel better in the process because you get the ego benefit of like I ended things, ha.
Yeah, it's
But
immature, I think.
yeah, it doesn't improve your outcomes though. But what improve your outcomes is like getting off those apps.
Yeah, no, I'm certainly not on the apps anymore. I recently joined a tennis club close to me.
Nice.
I'm looking to build a community, and for now, I I think I'm just open to what comes to me naturally. I'm done putting in so much effort and work.
Okay. Well, yeah, you should probably see better results with that, especially if like I said, you take the community approach. Good. Well, definitely come back and follow up and let me know how things are going for you. All right.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem, love. You take care.
Take care.
Yo,
What's good, brother?
what's going on, Chief?
What do you think?
I said, what's going on, man?
I'm good. I'm good. So I wanted to ask you something. Like, like I'll get straight to the point. Like, I won't make it too long.
Yeah.
So I'm 24, and I have quite the experience in dating. And the thing is, like, I don't choose bad women. You know, like, I don't go around places that I shouldn't find the people that are good for me, because everybody got standards, and I have standards too, and I don't really fuck around with people that are not worth it. But the thing is, like, I need your advice. Tu peux fermer le son, s'il te plaît? Yeah, sorry. So my advice is, not my advice, my request is for you to tell me, what do you think the issue is with me if I have good people around me, or if I have a good girl, and, like, I'm not able to, like, fully commit to the sense where, like, I'm not indulging in what could be better out there. Because it happens to me where I walk outside and I'll have a glimpse at a girl, or, you know, somebody will be looking at me and I want to indulge in it, or, like, I find I have a different type, or, you know, something could be better, you know, like, what do you think is the issue? Like, what do you think I should fix for myself?
I'm confused as to what the problem is. What is the actual problem that you're facing?
The actual problem is the fact that, like, I'm not able to fully, like, be 100% faithful. That's the issue. Like, I always have these temptations of, like, what's out there, you know? And it's not in a sexual way or anything. It's really because, like, I just feel like, you know, women are so beautiful in so many senses. There could be another girl that's attractive in a different sense, you know? It's not lust whatsoever. Like, honestly, I could care less about anything sexual.
Okay, so what is the allure?
What do you mean by that?
What is attracting you to these other women?
I would say it's like, cause I have a type, and, like, I would say it's like the way they look, you know, like very, like, they have characteristics that I like too, you know.
Like what?
I don't know, like, I can give you an example. Like, I've been with a girl that was a bit more, like, slim in the face, and some that have more different characters when it comes to the nose, or when it comes to, like, the face, the facial structure, you know. But anyways, most of the girls that I spoke to were East African.
Hey, like that. I get your dilemma. Them East Africans is pressure. Okay, so it does sound like lust though, brother, because it's like when you said characteristics, I thought you were going to talk about, like, intangible qualities, but you went to, like, nose structure.
No, sorry. That too. Like, physical is one thing, but I've also been attracted to a girl mentally, in a sense where another girl didn't have that mental aspect. Example, I spoke to a girl where I really like the way she thinks and the way she communicates very fast, because I could be like that too sometimes. And I've been with a girl that's more funny, but she's more funny than the other one. She has a better sense of humor. So it's like, I can't really have both at the same time, you know? So that's not really lust. That's more of a mental thing.
Do you find this pattern anywhere else in your life? Like, is there any other area where, like, you hop from thing to thing to thing?
No, actually, no. Like, I'm very composed when it comes to any other things in my life. So it's really in regards to women.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Yeah, it sounds like you just have a fear of commitment, brother. That's all.
I
And
think
you
so.
created a narrative around it to justify it. Like, oh, I just like, you know, admiring the beauty. It's no, commitment means you have to give up on other options. You have to actually commit. and choose something. You have to decide, and the word decide means to cut off other options. That's literally what the word decide means. So, yeah, you have a fair commitment. That's all.
Yeah.
That's it.
So like, would you think that like, if I spoke to somebody, I can't really have everything in the mental sense. Like, if one has a really extremely good sense of humor, and maybe she's not too much in the intellectual side, then you can't really change or make a girl as you want her to be.
Right.
Okay, I think that confirms what I wanted to hear, because honestly, it has nothing to do with lust. Like, I could care less. I'm someone who's very composed and I'm religious. Like, for me, I have a fear of God. So for me, that's not the issue. The issue is just like, why I have these thoughts still if I'm with a girl. Why do I still have that urge to go like get that spark and, you know, talk around and, you know, have that way, you know? Maybe it's just a discipline issue.
No, discipline is one of those things that is pervasive, right? So a lack of, if you have discipline, that normally will show up in other areas of your life as well. So I don't think it's discipline. It might be.
But it's not lust though, because lust is sexual. Like, I have no sexual interest in anybody actually. Like, I could speak to a girl for like 2, 3, 4 weeks without even thinking about it.
Okay.
Even months.
Okay. So.
Yeah, qui est important. Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, it's
It's a toughie, I know.
not necessarily. It's just I don't have enough data because you're young, right? You don't have a lot of experience, so I can't really establish any kind of clean patterns. But there's certain possibilities, right? It's like, okay, you have a fear of commitment, but then it's like, why do you have a fear of commitment? You know what I mean? Is it because you don't want to make the wrong decision, so you're trying to keep your options open? Is it because you deep down are insecure and you know committing to a woman means that she'll eventually see you for who you are and you don't want her to see you for who you are? So you just hop from women to, did that resonate what I just said?
I mean, that the first part, yes. The second part, no. Because for me, like, once I feel that someone is able to let me be myself, I allow myself to be myself.
Okay.
You know, like ugly side, good side, and every side. But I've been in a relationship where a girl see my ugly side, in a sense where like I could have impulse, like I could be impulsive, but listen, we're guys at the end of the day. Like, it happens that we can get impulsive, like, as a normal thing. But for you not to communicate or see me in that sense and still try to, like, you know, be someone who's trying to understand, like, I feel like a lot of girls need that understanding thing, like that understanding like characteristic too, you know, like, you have to understand the person of who they are, the good and the bad, and then take the time to reflect upon it, and then have sound judgment to speak to them and try to find the root issue, you know. And I've had that with a girl that was good, really good in that sense, but didn't have the sense of mental capacity and mental connection with me. So it's like, maybe my standards mentally are too high, you know. Maybe I have to compromise. I'm not sure what it is, honestly.
Yeah. So you're trying to find like the woman who's offering you everything.
Correct.
Yeah, and that's going to be worse because the more women you date, the more things you're gonna find out that you like, and now you're just adding more things to that list of what you want women to have. That's really the danger of dating a lot of people, by the way. You start to find different attributes that you like, and then you want one person to have all those things, and that person doesn't exist. And you think that if you choose someone who doesn't have some of those traits, then you're settling, which is not what settling means. So, yeah, it's you have a fear. Ultimately, it's not important why you have the fear of commitment. I would have to really dive deep in here and probably have like a longer call with you to kind of tease out why you have the fear of commitment. You 100% have the fear of commitment though. And ultimately, the only way to handle fear is exposure therapy. So you have to do the thing that you are afraid of, right? So I would advise for you to make a list of need to haves and nice to haves, right? So what are the traits that the woman needs to have? Be realistic with that. What do they need to have? 100%. And then on the other list, like what would be nice to have, right? And then when you come across someone who has all the need to haves, that's someone who's a good fit.
100%. That's some really good advice, honestly. And somebody said in the comment that I it's best I don't speak to anybody right now, and I agree. Because if you jump from relationship to relationship too quick, you don't get to understand or like really process everything. I think I need that lone moment by myself and reflect, you know?
Right.
Yeah, but I appreciate it, bro. Shout out. Definitely, I'm gonna contact you and we'll speak soon. But if we talk, I will tell you that I am religious. So if I have that sense of religious awareness, because I'm Muslim, so like we may have like some disagreements, but you do have a lot of things that I agree with, and Islam agrees with anyway, so it's not an issue.
Sounds good, brother. You take care of yourself, all right?
Okay.
All right. Playful Studio. I don't know if you're still connected. If you're there, unmute yourself. Going once. Going twice. Right. Let's bring Buddy back up if he's here. Yo,
man, what's happening?
what's going on, Chief?
Chilling. Listen, not to bother you again. I know I just tapped in the other day.
You good,
but,
man?
I wanted to ask, how is it that you properly vet a woman, right? Because especially as I start to get a little bit older, I do have some concern that I might meet someone, connect with someone, invest in them in a number of levels, and then, they mess around and become someone else entirely. Now, I know to an extent, you can't really control what people do. You can't always plan for every single contingency or necessarily know people's motivations. But I was just curious if you had some kind of broad advice for how to sort of tease out who a person is and whether you all are compatible and aligned during that dating process, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, what I try to get a feel for is the person's value system, right? So I want to know the reason why they're doing what they're doing. Because if I can get your inner motivations, if I can understand your inner motivations, then I kind of understand your blueprint to a degree. And then I can anticipate, what kind of issues we may have just based off of like how you reason. Does that make sense? You're muted. I don't know if you, okay.
Yeah, sorry, I hit the thing and it doesn't respond for some reason.
Okay.
But yeah, no, that does make sense. And as you were explaining it, it also sort of reified for me how important it is for me to be clear on what my values are and my purpose. Because if I know what I'm really about, then that will give me a clear picture of what the person I'm with needs to be about. So yeah, I dig what you're saying for sure.
Yeah, and that's on the first date. It's like, I mean, not first date, but just on the dates in general. Like when you're having conversations, like I tell guys, you go on the dates or the first date rather. I mean, your main goal should be to enjoy yourself, right? But outside of that, if you just like from an empathetic perspective, what do women tend to want? They want to feel something. And they want to feel seen and understood, right? So they want to feel, like from an emotional perspective, they want to feel something and not have their energy in their head, but just like make it more of a somatic experience for them, like where they feel an excitement or they're laughing, right? Get them in their body. And they also want they want to feel understood. They want to feel seen. Not exposed, seen. There's a difference, right? Exposed would be like you're psychoanalyzing the person and you're seeing things they don't want you to see. They're not ready for you to see. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants to feel exposed. but they want to feel seen, right? I'll give you an example of feeling seen. A beautiful woman may appreciate compliments that she's beautiful, but she probably is never told that she's intelligent. She's probably never told that she's funny. When people pay her compliments, they're probably always making compliments and observations based on her aesthetic, which probably becomes annoying after a while, right? So, but if she makes a very interesting observation on the date and conversation, maybe you pay a compliment to how observant she is, how intelligent she is. She's going to feel seen then, because people rarely make that observation, right? So if you go into it with that awareness and you're making them feel seen, part of making them feel seen is you trying to pierce the veil and understanding their inner world and their motivations. And like, if they tell you what they're doing for a living, you're asking why they do that for a living, right? Then you get that inner motivation, right? And the inner motivation is something that you can use to see just how compatible you are. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm basically saying, if you date in the way that I tell people to date, and you approach it in the way that I tell you to approach it, a byproduct of approaching it in that way is you get the data that will allow you to discern if you are in alignment. Part of making her feel seen is to actually see her, and to see her and understand her is to become aware of how compatible you really are.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I appreciate that.
Absolutely, brother. Best of luck to you, man.
For sure.
All right.
Good talking to you as always. Peace.
Yes, sir. Who else we got? Let's bring Playful Studio back up. I know they tried to call in. Isaac, what you're saying is true. A lot of people don't have that game though, but yeah, there are a lot of manipulators out there who are aware of everything I just said, and they will use it for evil, not good. Playful, what's going on?
How you doing, sir?
Great. How about yourself?
I'm good too. I just have a very quick question. I'm a guy. I'm 21. I'm from South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
I just have a very quick question because I'm stuck between a rock and a very, very hard place.
Okay, what's going on?
So I'm in this situation when I was like, I think I started in 2021 or some things like that. I went through a phase. I was very, 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 extremely lonely, because of a situation where I don't think you would understand, because it's like a spiritual level type thing, where something was attached to me that made me completely forget who I was, and it made me, because I completely forgot who I was, I couldn't interact with people the same anymore. It basically changed me. So when it changed me, I'm better now, but when it changed me, I lost my ability to interact with people, so I would sit alone, and it kind of got me into a depressional state, because I think I was 19 at the time, and I was still in school, so I had to meet a lot of people daily, but I couldn't talk to them. So now I'm getting better, but the problem is I'm struggling to communicate with people, especially women now, because it's like I've forgotten how to, and it's like I'm from like a place where you have to communicate, man. I love communicating, but now I can't, and people remember the old me and like the new me, but it's like I'm still a kid at the same time, but I have like two different life stories, and it's a mess.
Oh, you still there? Playful, you still there? If not, I'm gonna have to drop you. All right, brother, come back when your connection increases. Risky.
I'm just listening. Hi, how are you?
Great, how are you?
I'm good. I'm just listening. Nothing to say right now.
Okay, gotcha. You have a good one. All right. LC, how you doing? Okay, she must didn't mean to come up. All of them dropped from the queue. No, you're good, love. No need to apologize. Yeah, if y'all have a question, y'all can hit the button at the bottom of the screen. The blue and pink person, I'll bring you up, all right? See if she connects. How long will I be on? I'll be answering questions for another 20 minutes. Assuming we have callers. All right.
Hey.
Lily, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I just have a question. Basically, I'm trying to figure out if I'm just being like more so insecure or if my points are valid. So, I started dating a Jamaican guy, and of course it started off perfect. Everything always start off perfect or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. It's just like certain situations that's like came about or whatever. I don't know. I just feel like it's very like, I don't know if I want to say it's lustful for his behalf or if it's just, I don't know. But anyways, for instance, like we were in like a bank sort of say, setting up something together, and it was just certain stuff that the woman was saying that I felt was very disrespectful or whatnot. Just pretty much overstepping my boundaries in the relationship, telling him of stuff that he should do as far as his skincare and stuff, like what he should drink and all that stuff. And I'm just like, okay, like, and he really didn't respond, but like that arose something in me because I'm like, you should have made it where, I understand, she's got me or whatever. Just pretty much stepped in and like, being a man about it or whatever. And then just other situations like we've got into it and such as like just with him and other females pretty much wondering I don't know, we be out in public together and he just be staring at women and then I catch him and I don't say anything, but then it just consistently happen and I'm just like, am I your type? Do you want to be with me? Like, I mean, what's the issue? Like, and he's like, I want to be with you. If I didn't, I wouldn't be trying to build or whatever with you. But I'm like, it's just disrespectful. And it just make it seem like, I don't know, like I don't know. It gives like his eyes, like he don't want to be here. Like, I don't know. Or maybe he can't get his type. So it's like, he's settling, sort of say. Like, I don't know.
Okay. So what's your question here?
So, like, I'm just trying to figure out, do you think I'm just being more so insecure about it? Or, like, is my point valid? Like, and then just certain situations also, like, when I tell them, you can have, like, you can speak to women, like that's not my issue, but it just becomes it's not what you do, it's how you do everything. And It's just how he do stuff, like how he move with stuff that I don't agree with.
Okay.
And like in public, if we out eating, like being that I discussed, you don't have to sit there and stare at a woman, like literally stare like you lusting over her. Like you can look and speak, but don't make it as you're lusting over her. But now it's like when we go out together, when a woman is the waitress, it's like he automatically drop his head, and I'm like, you don't have to do that. Like you can look, but it's just like it's how you do stuff.
Oh, so he tried to correct the behavior.
Yes.
Okay. So what's the problem if he's trying to correct it?
Well, I don't know, because it's like I want you to be able to evolve and like talk to the opposite gender as a female. Like I don't mind that, but it's just like you don't have to make it seem as though like I don't know. It's like I don't know how to explain it. It's just like I tell them stuff like where it's like you don't have to stare. Like if I'm out in a public setting or whatever, we're in Walmart somewhere or anywhere, and a guy speak to me, I know how to keep it cordial but respectful. I don't sit there, men I know gonna find other women attractive. Like that's not what I'm saying, but it's just like you don't have to stare and constantly stare like you're lusting over a female.
Gotcha. So he went from staring, and then like you addressed it, and then he tried to correct it, but now it's like he's being weird to where he can't even be normal around a woman.
Exactly. And it's just like I'm African, I'm black, so it's just like and it's always like white women, not to be raped because I love all races, but it's just like now it's just like every time, now if they're not too attractive or whatever, I guess he could look at them, but now it's just like he making it weird. Like,
so you saw a pattern from he was staring at white women?
I mean, it's anybody. If they got a shape, if they're white, black, but mostly when we go out, I notice like it's white women. So it's just like I don't know if that's his type or it's just I don't know. But then I asked him, like when I first started noticing it, I asked him, I was like, what is your type, to try to pick and like not to pick with them or knit with them, but just to try to figure out like what's going, like what's your type. Oh, I don't necessarily have a type. Women are women, blah blah blah. But then it's just like, so if you don't have a type, does that mean you just go after anybody? Like, is that I don't know. Like, I don't know.
There is some insecurity going on here. It's like you're valid. What you're saying is valid. So I understand where the insecurity is coming from. But I think like you were in a situation where he was making you uncomfortable because he's staring at women, and then that activated an insecurity. So like he's doing something that you shouldn't do, and then that activated insecurity, and now it's becoming like prioritized in your brain to where like, and now you're asking about what his type is. He tells you he doesn't really have one, and now you're taking that to mean like, so you just go after everyone, right?
Exactly. Like, and then another instinct. Like, I asked him, I was like, it was a more so question revolved around the same thing. When another instinct happened, and he's like, I like women that dress up nice, and when he went explaining himself, like some of the stuff did not match who I am. So it's just like, and then it brought up like every time something happened, it's like it bring up past instances where he just let people basically disrespect me, like at the bank. Like I feel like me myself personally, when I'm with him, like if a man, when a man is trying to flirt, or when another gender try to do something that's not right. So it's like, I mean, we got common sense too. So it's like, I don't know. Like I know how to nip stuff in the bud before it get to a point where he feel disrespected.
Okay. So, are y'all in a relationship?
Yes, we are.
How long have y'all been in a relationship?
We have been dating since February of last year.
Okay.
And he is if it matters, he's a a Jamaican, and it's kind of like I heard people like, and I don't like to go off what people say, so like me just giving it a try myself, but it's like I don't know. People also said that Jamaicans they're for everybody. They don't know how to be loyal, blah blah blah. So I don't know if it's just who he is as a Jamaican, or I don't know.
There might be some truth to that. I mean, stereotypes typically have some kernel of truth to them. You can't mass apply that though, right? I mean, you can't just meet a Jamaican person and be like, okay, you can't be loyal, because then, that's not true. But
Right.
there are some good things going on here, which is he's trying to correct the behavior. He's overcorrecting it, but he is trying to correct it. Him staring is symptomatic of like having a lust problem. I wouldn't be surprised if he like watched porn and stuff like that. I've known guys like that. I've had homeboys where I'll be on the phone with them talking, and they were like, "Damn." I'm like, "What?" Like, we're having a whole conversation. I was hearing them yell, "Damn!" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" The shorty's walked by with a fat ass. I'm like, "Bro, that's you're 40." You know what I mean? Like,
right.
this is like you can acknowledge, like you can see it, but you don't have to. Why are you having such a big reaction to that? You know what I mean? That's normally like there's an issue with lust there. So, but he is trying to correct it, right? He's just over.
I guess that's what you would say when he like hold his head down or whatever, and we talked about it, and he's like, "I'm not doing anything. I'm trying to fix it, blah blah blah." But it's like you shouldn't. I don't know. I just feel like you shouldn't be so weird. You should be at a and I guess it's just me. It might be me because I'm 26 and I don't know. I feel like for my age I'm like very mature to the fact where like I've never believed in the sneaky links. I've never believed in having multiple partners. Blah blah blah. If I'm with you, I'm with you. And I just don't know if I'm like, I don't know if it's just me and how I'm set up, or if it's just like, I don't know.
No, you can like have another conversation with him. Like, hey, you can be normal with these people. Just don't stare at them, right?
And I've said that. I've said that before, and he still like when I mentioned something this last time when we went out to eat or whatever, and the waitress came up and he saw it was a lady. Like even with at a thing when it was a man waitress, he was holding his head down, and I'm like, what is wrong? Like, you make it seem like I'm being mean to you or something. Like, I just feel like you should be able to control yourself. Like, say, for instance, we go on the beach and, everybody wearing bikinis out there. We shouldn't have to stay home for you to be able to control your eyes and be respectful, so to say. So, like, I just feel like you should be able to have self-control over yourself to be able to go out and control where your eyes are going.
Mm-hmm.
Or control yourself and control yourself.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah. So your question was ultimately, are you justified or not? Was that your question? Like, are you feeling valid in this situation?
My question was like, do you think that I'm being too like insecure, or do you think like my points are valid, or like
your points are valid.
Am I just being insecure, or do you feel like I'm being valid or making valid points?
No, you're making valid points for sure. Yeah, I don't disagree with anything that you're saying. It would also, if I can imagine if I were you, that would also weird me out. The overcorrection, like, what are we looking down for? Like, you're being subordinate. Like, you can be normal. Just stop staring. Staring is different than just completely not looking in their direction in general. Right? And if he don't know how to, I don't know why he's overcorrecting like that. To be honest, I don't know if he's trying to be funny. I don't know what this, like when you say the guy comes to the table, he's doing it there too. It's like, all right, now like, are you trying to be funny at this point?
Right. And then I see somebody said that in the comments. They was like, start looking bad at hot men. Like, I can't do that. Like, I can't, I'm not that type of person to do that. Like, I know it's not me actually wanting to do it, like it's just to get a reaction out of him. But it's just like I feel like that's cheating. Like,
Well, no, it's no point in doing that. It's like, don't listen to people saying it's ego games. That's why people are in such fucked up relationships. They don't just leave. So if someone's doing something you don't like and it's crossing the boundary and you can't reach resolution, just leave. What are we playing the game for? Like, that's goofy shit. Anyone saying that is goofy. So you just leave the situation if that's really that big a deal. At first it sounded like he just was trying to correct himself. He didn't know how to correct it, but then when you said he was doing it when men are entering the table as well, now it's like, okay, well, you're trying to be funny in this situation. But yeah, everything you're saying is valid. It's just he likely has a problem with lust. Even if there is some insecurity going here, it's reactive to what he is doing, and it will kind of make anybody insecure. Like if he's describing women that are his type or what he likes from women in a way that doesn't match you, I can clearly see you being like, okay, do you want to be with me? You know what I mean?
right.
I understand that. How did y'all meet, by the way?
We met online. I
did.
know the other lady. Yeah, we
Course
met
you did.
online. Like usually, I will go and try to like go out and go to nice places and like talk to people and get to know them and stuff like that. But
Right.
that wasn't working out. Like everybody that I will go out and try to talk and get to know, they'll try to do one thing, and I'm not for that.
Right.
And I guess it's just like my age, right? My age group too. They're like everybody into the sneaky links, everybody into having multiple people. Everybody, I don't know. I guess it's my age range, and then probably the online thing.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, really, this ultimately boils down to like, is it a deal breaker for you? Because you've already communicated what you would like the correction to be. It's like, is this a deal breaker or is it not? Right? Like, it sounds like he's no longer staring at the women. So if he's no longer staring at them, maybe just make peace with him looking down when people come to the table. It's up to you. Right? If he continued to do it, then it would be more of a problem, right? But if you're saying that he stopped doing it, but now he's being weird in a different way, it's like, okay, well, is that something that you can live with, or is that something that you feel like you want to add to the relationship over? That's just ultimately your decision.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
No problem, love. Best luck to you, all right?
All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right. Playful.
Yes, brother.
Okay, so you were saying that, spiritual issue, you overcame that, and you used to be more social. Now you're not as social, and people are like, they miss the old you, and you are having a hard time speaking to people anymore, especially women. That's where we ended.
Yes.
Okay, was there any more to that, or did you have a specific question about it?
The basic question was, do you think me going through that situation, because it was a very, very like painful situation, like to go through it at such a young age, it messed with me. Like I had depression, like I think I was depression was like my friend at the time, but I got through it, and it made me very lonely. But like now, I want to know, do you think me wanting to be the old guy so bad is gonna like mess with the person that I'm trying to be? Do you think this was like God's plan? Because I like to look at things like that, because what if this was God's plan to like make me a different person, to make me the person I want to become? Because I'm the type of person that like speaks upon the things he wants. Like I speak things I want like into existence. So maybe this was like God, like I don't know the word for like preparing me for what I want to be. This was his way, But at the same time, it's like I need to interact, because it messes with me. Like I'm so socially awkward. Like it's funny sometimes. Like I'm so like and I'm only 21, and it's like I have so much bad experience socially because I'm like shy now, and it's not. I know it's not me. It's not me. People are like, "You've changed," and I'm like, "Yeah, I did change," and like just leave it at that. I'm not that social anymore, and I feel like I'm in need of love. So my basic question was, do you think I'm in need of love, or it's just like um the
So
because
here's the thing, brother. You got to be careful with like the narratives that you put. They can become self-fulfilling prophecies. Okay. So yeah, you can look at this as God preparation, but I promise you, God does not want you to have an inability to connect with people. There's nothing when you say God, I'm assuming you're referring to like the Bible or Christianity. I don't know if you are or not, but if we reduce it to like biblical text, there's nothing in the Bible saying thou shalt be shy, right? So it's like that's not true. So that sounds like you just protecting yourself from the fear that you associate with socializing, and you're creating some sort of like noble narrative around it. No, this is just simple as like you just doing what you're afraid of doing for whatever reason, which is engaging people. So you just have to kind of like microdose exposure therapy. You just have to start talking to people. Have to start making yourself talk to people. The easiest people to talk to are going to be service workers. So people who literally are paid to engage you, right? And they're the perfect people to talk to because a lot of times they're dealing with rude people all day. So it will be a breath of fresh air to deal with someone who's pleasant, who's talking to them. So that means like an Uber driver, a barista, right? A waitress or waiter. You know what I mean? Like talk to people like that to kind of get accustomed to talking more and engaging people more socially. You can still become the new person that you're building yourself into becoming, but that doesn't mean like you talking to people doesn't make you the old you. No, you can talk to people and still become whoever it is you're becoming. Okay. But part of the thing that's going to hurt you is a lot of time the social anxiety is internalized shame. So I would say to stop doing anything that brings any kind of shame to you. Try to only do things that make you proud of yourself and limit or completely eradicate things that make you ashamed, right? So that means if you're someone who watches porn and stuff like that, just stop doing it, right? If that produces shame. When you create more shame, you stop wanting to be seen. You don't want to be observed when you have a lot of shame. So when you watch porn and stuff like that, it produces shame, and now you don't even want to make eye contact with people. You look at some unhoused people sometimes, right? Not all of them, but some homeless people who may be on drugs and stuff like that. Like they feel a lot of shame and they feel offended if you look at them too long sometimes, right? Because that's that shame talk. They don't want to be seen. So don't do anything produces shame. Only try to focus on activities that make you proud of yourself. In so doing, it'll make it easier for you to connect with people because then you won't feel threatened by being observed. Does that make sense?
It does. It does actually.
Okay.
It does. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Like I don't think you understand the like this is so like refreshing to hear because damn. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, brother. Keep me posted on how things go for you, all right?
Okay.
All right, take care. My man. All right, no more callers today. If y'all have a question, y'all can drop it in the chat. I'll kick it with y'all for a moment. That's some good calls today. What was your favorite call? Master warm eye contact. There's a book called The Power of Eye Contact, which is pretty good. Talks all about it. This guy, he used to throw like eye contact parties where like in the party you don't talk, you just look at each other in the eyes. And it's like, it's supposed to be very intimate. I might reread that. I'll probably make some content out of that actually. I'm naturally shy, but I connect really well with people through eye contact. Right. That sounds fun. An eye contact party. Me being neurodivergent, that's difficult for me. Not on like dates, not if I'm sold on you, but like if it's like passing interactions, I tend to not want to make strong eye contact. If I'm through a drive-through, I'm normally not like, thank you for Chick-fil-A worker, right? I'm not making strong eye contact in those situations. But like on a date or it's a one-to-one interaction, it's very strong. So much to the point where like people tend to call it out. Like, you make really good eye contact. Hannah, where you come from? How long you been here? I love intimate eye contact. Nice. Do people like tell you that you make good eye contact? I'm the same way with eye contact. Yeah, I think neurodivergent people have a hard time with that. Even when I make my videos, you'll see when I make my videos, like I'm looking around because I'm like, that's how I gather my thoughts. So if someone's talking to me, I'm locked in. I'm looking at you for a very long time. But if I'm talking, I can't sustain eye contact if I'm talking. I have to kind of like do this and gather what I'm trying to say. I didn't know there was a neurodivergent thing, but it is. I don't look at people often when I speak, just visualize what I'm thinking. Really. Yeah, if I'm talking, I'm all over the place. One dude is a popular creator. He made a video about me. He didn't name me though. I won't name his name. Very big creator though. And he was saying that like, he thought I was crazy. He was like, yeah, the guy who like looks around when he's talking and making his videos, like, I think he's probably like a little off. Like he's batshit crazy. I'm like, the fuck? Like I'm just neurodivergent, bro. Relax. If I like you, I'm living in your eyes 24/7. Is that right? What's the best time to ask a widower what their spouse died from if you're like on date number 4? Why do you want to know what their spouse died from? Because you wanted to know that since they mentioned it. I know it. You like trying to do like an autopsy on their deceased wife. It's refreshing to hear. I was on a date yesterday and definitely noticed him looking away, like as he was talking. Yeah. I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't think you should ask. That might be a touchy subject. So what did she die from? How did she die? Or just talk about other deaths that you know of and then see like if it's warm. Yeah, I had a cousin who died in a car accident. I had another cousin who had a heart attack. Right? Do a few of those and see when you get warm. What's up, Chance? You need something? Yeah. Get Avery to help you. That's how I would play it. Just keep trying to, see how warm you can get. You might run out of people. Then you might have to like use the news. You see this. There was a mass shooting in the news the other day. All right, just keep going until they're like, you actually now you mentioned it. Yeah. That's how I lost Susie. She was at Publix and there was like a banana peel on the floor and she slipped. The doctor said that nothing they could do. I feel like if you're like a certain age, I am still streaming. I'm glad you said that, Cece. Let me stop the stream. The stream normally doesn't get